might change. Today's resource person wants to make this session to be more interactive. He doesn't want it to be monologue, but he wants it to be dialogue form. Hence, kindly type your questions, your opinion, your suggestions, and even responses in the chat box. We will pick it up and respond to it as the time demands. Now we are here on this third day with yet another stalwart in the field of finance who would share his views on economy in post-COVID-19. Let me give you, before we get started with the session, the glimpses of the journey of Sri Purva Shah from Mumbai, his journey from ordinary person to extraordinary. Purva Shah is a freelance entrepreneur in the areas of investment, advisory, and training. He has had the privilege to mentor more than 35,000 minds spanning over 13 years, with 75 plus organizations ranging from school students to international and government delegations. Diverse organizations such as Bombay Stock Exchange, FTKMC, training arm of the MCX, Reliance Securities, Department of Direct Taxes, Central Government of India, Doordarshan News, ICFAI, ICSI, ICICI Direct, St. Xavier's College, Symbiosis, Government Law College, Harvard Law School, FHNU, FHNW, Switzerland, Securities and Exchanges Commission, and at Zimbabwe and Tanzania, National Skill Development Council, NSDC, National Defense College, and many more, which will keep adding in coming years. So when we look at the profile of Purva Shah, I feel it is very apt a Sanskrit shloka which goes thus: Samsthane pujyate raja, sarvatra pujyate vidvan. So a king would be respected only in his domain, only in his kingdom, but a learned person doesn't have any boundaries. It is his knowledge, his intellectual capacity, his achievement, which makes people attracted towards him, and because of which he will be reaching out hundreds and thousands of people. Purva Shah, though he is located in Bombay, is connected to all over the places, all over the countries in the world, not nationally based, but an international person. To listen to what Purva Shah feels about educating people on economy, because economy, finance are the most important sectors of our society. As in these 2 days of our webinar, we have come to know that economy, education, and health are the 3 very solid foundations of a healthy society. So first 2 days, we had sessions on education in pre-COVID-19 era and then post-COVID-19. Today, we are going to discuss on the topic, economy in post-COVID-19. Purva Shah has already sent a message asking the participants to be very interactive, because he always feels that education should be entertaining. He says he loves making education entertaining. It's not education. He has coined a new word, edutainment, which makes complex financial terms fun to learn and easy to understand as well as apply. In a variety of programs he has conducted, he tries combining theoretical knowledge with games and case analysis as well as similes in everyday living to make learning practical and easy to understand, especially to understand by the participants from non-financial backgrounds, as well as adding value to current investors or issuers. This places participants in a simulated business environment and improves on their analytical and decision-making skills. These end with learning objectives which subtly convey and retain otherwise hard to understand bookish concept. So, dear participants, let's get started with a very stimulating session by Purva Shah. And now I hand over the platform to Purva Shah.
Thank you, Prasanna ma'am.
Yes. Welcome,
that
sir.
was a wonderful welcome. I think it made me blush many more times than it has ever happened. I hope to live up to these expectations, and I hope that we can actually just discuss a little bit of idea generation, at least at this stage, because there are lots of things to come and lots of newer kinds of innovations to actually happen in today's times. So let's hope to try and be ahead of this by thinking what is going to change and how is it going to actually affect us or impact us. This is what my main topic for the day would be. Yes, since I'm a stock market expert, I would definitely be able to relate this more towards stock markets, more towards investments, more towards the economy, and I'll definitely try to relate it into this kind of a domain area. Yes, I do believe that a learned person can speak of many more things except just his domain area. But at least for today, let us focus on something that we have come to do. Try and understand how behavioral patterns, try and understand how our mentalities, try and understand how different kinds of changes that are coming about will start affecting our investing philosophies as well as investing styles. Let's hope I'll be able to at least affect mentalities and mindsets in a positive direction, and hoping for markets to continue further in that positive direction from where we are beginning today. A warm welcome to everyone. I'm very happy that everyone's chatting and putting on good mornings onto the chat. Shows that the participants are very enthusiastic and are always ready to interact, especially since it's a participant list is full of teachers and professors. It's very difficult to keep you all muted, and I am feeling very sad that everyone is muted. But it's very difficult to keep silence in a classroom full of professors who are taught and trained to teach. So all our responses, I am very, very open to responses. All our responses should be in the chat window, as many responses as you can. Also, I hope you all are very comfortable with the thumbs up. Everyone gives me a thumbs up. Either the video thumbs up is also fine, or the thumbs up that is there in the reactions. Do we have the reactions? Everyone give me a thumbs up, please. Okay, videos are wonderful. I can see where videos are quicker. Okay. Even the reactions thumbs up work as well. So we need to be very, very interactive, especially because technology sometimes can mute the actual meaning. Sometimes it's difficult to convey emotion over a screen. If we are in a classroom, it's very easy to convey emotion, but over a screen sometimes it's very difficult to convey emotion. Especially first, there are eight different screens that I have to look for participants. So we have a wonderful 178 and still counting further people wanting to join. So understanding it's very difficult to view all of you all together. Hence, let's try and be as interactive as we can on the chat window. Everyone put up your views on the chat window whenever I ask. Great, wonderful. With that, I think we shall begin with today's session. I'm just sharing the presentation that I'll be using with all of y'all. Is the presentation visible? Is the presentation visible? Am I audible? Great. Great, perfect. I think I am audible. So I present to you something that I have recently developed in the form of a learning module. This is the most recent developed learning module that I have, and I'm happy to share this one with you all. I would love to have complete unrestricted feedback on it, because this is something new that I'm trying out. So please give me unrestricted feedback, criticism, wherever, however, constructive criticism that I can use to actually take this module forward. I present to you Conniving Corona, the story of hidden dragons, a fun-filled learning module. The recent crisis has taught us quite a lot of things. Can someone share what are the new different things that that the recent crisis has taught you? Has some form of change come to your thinking or mentality? If you can share what has changed in our mentalities in the recent crisis. On the chat, if someone can share, please. New way of life, someone says. It's wonderful. If your entire life has changed, yes. Technology as part of life, yes. This is something that I've come to realize. This is one very big change that has actually come about. The importance of health and happiness, yes. This is something that should be focused upon primarily. But because of money and because of the fast-paced life of cities, we had started ignoring, I can't call it ignoring, but putting this on the back seat. Health had gone down to a back seat, and our happiness level had started reducing. So we've started focusing on that, especially being completely cut off from working, being cut off from money and greed. We have started realizing that life can be much more peaceful and happy if we start reducing our needs and wants. Understanding family views. I like the person who says adjustability. Yes, this is a time that we have been tested for our adaptation. Now, science had taught us, and socialism has also taught us, that humans are very adaptable. They sometimes get a little scared of something that is new, but slowly and steadily they adapt and change towards this new circumstance. Even animals learn to adapt. Even insects adapt. then humans as thinking people should adapt much better, much quicker, and in a better kind of a refined kind of a fashion. Okay. Adaptability is something that is there. Coping with the unforeseen. We were put into a situation suddenly and we have started, initially, I think everyone was fearful. Most of people were very, very fearful. We did not know what to do, how to react. But slowly and steadily, we started coping with this. Thank you for the amount of responses that are there. And I think I have gained major pointers as to what we need to continue upon. And I think major points have come out in this kind of an area that we need to focus upon certain changes in life. Let me speak about change from now on. Let me speak about the personal journey that I talk of. I love driving to Goa. Goa as a road trip is good fun. So from Bombay, I usually pack my bags, pack my two children in the back, and with my love on the next seat, my wife, we start off on this journey at 5 o'clock in the morning. Usually 5-ish, we begin. So that we are exactly by lunchtime, we are at Kolhapur, and there's a nice dhaba on the highway itself where we actually have our lunch and then continue further onto this journey. For people who are knowing the road, especially lots of y'all from Karnataka, when I drive down ahead of Kolhapur, a turn comes towards Ajra, which will then take me into the Ghats and finally lead me towards Sawantwadi, which will then enter Goa. One such time that I was actually driving through, I was continuing onto the road, and after a nice lunch at Kolhapur, I was continuing and driving onto the road. After some time, my wife actually pointed out that, Purv, I think we have missed the turn to Ajra. Ajra has gone behind and we've missed that turn that you usually take. I said, no, baby, this is the 5th time that we are driving. We have driven to Goa so many times. I know where that turn comes. I will take you to Goa, don't worry. I don't need your instructions sitting on the side seat. She said, fine, let him learn. After 5 more kilometers, she pointed once again. Purv, I am really telling you, you have missed the turn. I said, no, baby, I know, yaar. I continue further. Change. This is one important zone of change. Acceptance. Not many of us like to accept that we are in need of change. I'm not saying we are wrong. I am saying we are in need of change. We need to change. We are driving on the road where there's nothing wrong about it, but there is probably a zone or probably a time that we need to actually think whether or not we need change. The first important point is acceptance. I kept on driving on the road and did not accept that I had missed the turn. Probably after 10 or 12 kilometers, what happened was I had to look towards her now and say, baby, you know what? I think you were right. Acceptance. After 15 kilometers of going towards the wrong direction, I accepted. If I would have accepted this before, or if I would have actually at least tried to pay attention to what she was saying. This happens in markets and this happens in economies. There are lots of news that have been coming out, but we are not ready to accept this. Our minds are not ready to see something that is changing, especially because we think that we are right. We have already thought about this. So this is a point of change. The current crisis has given us a lot to think about. Majority of views actually came up. We have tried to learn from what current scenarios are. We are trying to adapt. We are trying to change. In that, I am so happy that most of us have accepted it. That we have accepted that, yes, probably I'm wrong. I'm on the wrong road. Even after acceptance, it is very difficult to take that U-turn. This is what is very important in change. We keep on accepting that we are wrong. It is wrong to sleep late. It is wrong to view too much of the television. It is wrong to be obsessed with certain kinds of sports or sports figures. We understand that it is wrong, but do we still do something about it, or do we still continue on the same path? Everyone knows it's bad to have certain kinds of addictions, but are we able to do something about it? Are we able to change? Are we able to quit those addictions? Are we able to take that U-turn that I'm talking of on the road to Goa? If I continue after accepting that I was wrong, if I continue in the same direction, if I don't take a U-turn, it's very difficult for change to bring about. And hence, with the current situation, I feel life has changed completely. There are lots of positive factors that we can focus upon. Let's not focus on the negative ones. Though yes, negative ones do exist, but there have been lots of different changes that are coming. These are our hidden dragons. These dragons were hidden inside us, and we were not able to accept these. We were not willing to accept that this is the change that is required. We probably knew that we are so caught up in life or caught up in making money that we are not giving enough time to children, enough time to family, enough time to parents, to our wives, our partners. We were all accepting this, but we did not have that U-turn. As investors, I will show you in quite a lot of situations, investors have realized that they are wrong, but they have still not been able to change. Managing change is something that is very important in today's situations in life. Managing change in markets as investors is very, very important throughout life. So understanding this and going further, let's speak of what kind of differences there are. Are you ready to manage this change? Are you ready to dare to enter the dragon? Do you have what it takes to manage that change? Do you have what it takes to actually bring about some positive impact in your life? How many Bruce Lee fans in the house? Bruce Lee fans? Bruce Lee fans in the house? How many Bruce Lee fans in the house? Say hi in the chat. How many Bruce Lee fans? Lots of Bruce Lee fans I see. Great. Okay. Very famous movie, Enter the Dragon from Bruce Lee. Okay. Very famous movie. Are we ready to enter this dragon of ours? Are we ready to change? Who dares to enter the dragon? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it Superman? Fun fact. Do you know that the Russian Prime Minister is a wonderful judo athlete? That means if you have just one forte in life, you need to add on to these different domain expertise that you have. No, wait, it's actually funnier fact. Do you know the US president was once part of the World Wrestling Federation or the WWF? सिर्फ handshake करो ना और कुछ नहीं करना, huh? How the Chinese president is looking to Chinese prime minister is probably looking towards whether to shake his hand or no. Enough of the dangerously controversial comedy. I can go to jail for this. But my pedagogy has always been that of fun. I always like to present participants with real life situations. I always love to actually present you with something and then ask for ideas from your side. That is why I like it to be a two-way process. I love to facilitate via giving you some situation and then giving comments which not only entertain and engage but even maximize relation and retention. This is where the focus lies. It's not just for fun. It's not for me becoming a joker, but it's for you to retain as well as relate to these kinds of theoretical concepts that which I actually do this in this kind of a manner. This presentation is going to be only for educational purposes. It's only for fun, and it's only for fun learning. There is no motto involved in it except that. I present to you episode 1 of learning. The return of the toilet paper. Sanitizing sanity. There's a lot of wordplay involved in where I talk of the return of the toilet paper as well as sanitizing sanity. One thing that we need is sanity in today's days. Sanity as in cleanliness, hygiene. See, lots of people said that lots of y'all pointed that today's time you need to be you have learned hygiene, you have learned health, you have learned that we need to focus upon how can we keep ourselves clean. Toilet paper helps us do that. It helps us maintain sanitization, cleanliness. Along with cleanliness of physical sorts, I also like to point upon cleanliness of thinking. And hence, I have used the term sanitizing. In today's crisis situation, lots of us have started taking decisions in not a very sane manner. We have started taking decisions in a very panic, in a very, very greed or a fear-based manner. All of us need to return back to sanity, return back to thinking as to how or what is affected in our lives, as to how we can minimize the negative impacts of this. Why should we not look at the negatives? Why should we focus on the positives? This is something that is very, very important in today's times. Sanitizing yourself, not just sanitizing yourself. Sanitizer to sab log ne kharid liye, but for the mind, let us also purchase mind cleaning tools, tools that can clear our mindsets, tools that help us change, tools that help us accept that we are in the need of change. This is what I like to focus upon. My source of data is a YouTube video, a video that was posted on YouTube by Mr. John Paul Drake, director of Drake Supermarkets in South Australia. He shared this story about a customer who attempted to return a mass amount of toilet paper and hand sanitizers. Okay. This video has already been uploaded on YouTube. This is not like a TikToker doing this, but this video also has been run by various news channels. Even Sky News, one of the most influential as well as the most believed news channel, Sky News, has run the same video and shared this data. So this data is verifiable. You can all log into YouTube whenever you have the time. Log into YouTube whenever you want to view the video. The links are posted. I'll probably post the links even on the chat. Or you can only type Drake Supermarket. If you try Drake Supermarket, you will get a couple of videos that have been played. I actually use the Sky News video that is played by Sky News. That's my source of data. My version or my take on this is, even if the situation seems made up or exaggerated, you might feel that somebody is only playing the fool. Probably the situation is too exaggerated, but the learning is real for sure. Don't try and question the data. Try and see what the data can teach you. Focus on the learning. Don't focus on the data itself. This is what Drake had to say. I had my first customer yesterday who said he wanted to get a refund on 150 packets of 32 pack toilet paper. So that is not just 150 toilet rolls, but that's 150 into 32. We're talking of somewhere around 4,500 rolls of toilet paper and 150 liters of sanitizer. Okay. Drake said, I told him, and I can't speak this, because we are supposed to be censored there. But what Drake did is, on national television, he came out and he said, I showed him the middle finger. I told him that that is the sort of person that is causing the problem in the whole country. We don't need to look at toilet paper or sanitizer. We can come back to ourselves and think of how many of us actually bought quite a lot of things that were not of use, or probably we did not need so much of it. Maggie noodles, for instance. I think all our homes must be stocked full of Maggie noodles for at least 2 months if we can go without food. Are we going to eat only Maggie noodles? I don't think so. I hope not. How many of us actually bought too much amount of things like Surf Excel? I know I did. I picked up 5 kilo packs, 5 kilo packs of Surf Excel. Then I realized this was a waste. I invested all my money in Surf Excel and I did not have enough money to buy probably toothpaste. That I had to once again go to the ATM or probably go home and get enough money once again. I could have been okay by buying one 5 kilo package of Surf Excel. Thinking, mentalities, crisis situations. A situation was such where in a crisis what happened is we could not think straight. We thought that we will not get certain products. We thought that we will just be left without certain things. Biscuits for a matter. I know for a fact in a city like Bombay, for 1 week, there were no biscuits on the shelf of any supermarket. Everyone's homes were filled with biscuits for at least 3 months on a row. Biscuits are perishables, remember. You will not be able to consume them if they get soiled or if they start catching humidity. But no, did we think of this? No. We thought conniving Corona. No one will get biscuits or biscuit lao. The attitude of panic buying. This gives quite a lot of problems in stock markets. The sudden attitude of people reacting to some news. If the news is positive, people come out and completely start panic buying. This leads for a stock to grow from 100 rupees to 150 rupees in a very short span of time. Suddenly the stock will move up. We all feel, wow, the stock has appreciated and the positive news has worked, and we all once again go to buy the stock once again. This leads to the stock to go from 150 to 160, 170, 200, 250. But at some point of time, this has to end. The bubble has to pop. The way this customer realized that he bought 4,000 rolls of toilet paper, which he will never be able to use. Instead of buying only toilet paper, he now needed the money to buy something else. So he came back to return this toilet paper. This is the title of the episode, The Return of the Toilet Paper. The Revenge of the Toilet Paper. This is what the problems have been caused. I say if I only could do this with my loss-making shares. See, when stocks move up, everyone goes out and panic purchases. What happens is this is not sustainable. There will be some time, a time when the way the customer realizes that he does not need this toilet paper and come out to return, there will be a time that investors will come out to sell shares. So if you are attracted by shares that have gone up in the recent times, you might get stuck in this. If only I could give these shares back, the shares that I bought during panics of this sort. This is the time for Gyan now. So pay attention. After fiascos like Reliance Power, lots of people must have invested in Reliance Power, and many other fiascos as well. A recommendation was made to regulators that companies coming out with IPOs should give a minimum price guarantee, issue price at least. That means if the company has issued shares at 100 rupees, it should give some minimum guarantee that at least for 6 months, the investors will have a refund option. That means if the person has purchased at 100 in an IPO and the share prices go below that, the person at least gets a minimum guarantee, like an insurance or like a guarantee or like a security form, that he will at least get back what he invested. This was a recommendation made that certain IPOs should do this and investors should get a refund. Exit option for limited time period. You can't say that this should be extended for years and years, but at least 3 months. It has been shown in the past times that lots of investors invest into IPOs and the IPOs start going bad. In very short times, in 1 month or 2 months, the IPO prices start falling drastically. There should be some protection for these investors. I don't know for sure, but I think there is some regulation, at least circulars were enacted in this direction. Don't take me to court if I'm wrong in the above claim. But the recommendation has definitely been verified, that the recommendation has been made by a couple of committees. Whether it is enacted into a law or no, or whether that will happen, is for time to tell. This is a very common clause in venture capital and private equity arrangements. So if you understand venture capital, these are more dangerous investments. Here, the companies are much smaller, and these companies are not having too much amount of goodwill. Sorry, too much amount of goodwill, too much amount of past proof that they have been performing well. So investors putting their money in these kind of venture capital and private equity kind of companies, investors do put in these kinds of clauses of minimum price guarantees. Oh, I so wish we get it in secondary markets too. That if I purchase a stock at 100 rupees and if it is in a loss, I can go and return it. But secondary markets are like the Costco wholesale notice that has been put. Costco is a very big supermarket in the United States, and due to this current crisis, Costco put up this notice: returns will not be accepted on toilet paper, paper towels, sanitizing wipes, water, rice, and Lysol. See, these are the things that were hoarded by customers. And hence Costco said that we will not accept returns and refunds on this. So same like that, secondary markets do not offer you chances of refunds. Investing in secondary markets hence should be very, very carefully done. Before you invest, you need to be careful. Before you put your money in this test or this amount of checking, verification has to be done, so that you do not need to return or refund or not go into losses. We all wish that this can happen in secondary markets, but if wishes were horses, I'd be a king, and I'm not a king. Just trying to show you Reliance Power. Power on, India on. This was one of the advertising campaigns of Reliance Power. Power on, India on. India on ho gaya, but power kabhi bhi on nahi hua. This was where the problem lied. The entire investing community had gone gaga over Reliance Power. This was in 2008. Completely gaga over Reliance Power. People started opening new Demat accounts. And even in today's recent crisis, the number of Demat accounts that have been opened have tripled. This was the situation in 2008. There was a huge amount of opening of Demat accounts. Suddenly, in 2 months or 3 months, the number of Demat accounts that got opened tripled. It is very, very relational to current crisis as well. There are quite a lot of news articles that have said that there are lots of new Demat accounts that have opened due to the recent crash. Same with 2008. Did we learn something is what I'm trying to question. From 2008, lots of people got interested in investing. The crash came. Lots of people started putting their money into these new IPOs that came out in that time. Reliance Power becoming a brand name. I have nothing against the company, but I am using it as an example because it's a very big brand name. Along with Reliance Power, there were many other IPOs as well that came out, not as big brand names. People started investing in these companies without thinking logically, just on the basis of, let's say, a 2-year or 3-year increase of stock prices. Since 2003, 2004, stock markets were going up. Everyone was making money. Anyone who put their money in stocks had tripled their money. On this basis, in 2008, people started putting money into these IPOs with even more power. Let's see what happened. A slew of IPOs have devastated investor wealth all throughout history. This is not something new. This is not something that happened in 2008. It has repeated after that in 2011, in 2017. This has been happening from 1700s. If you wish, I can take you back in history, because history is a strong subject of mine. I'm not a very good accounting or statistics student. I'm a very good history student. So if you want, I can take you into stories of 1700s and show you that this has been happening. Lots of people have been losing money by just blindly putting money into IPOs, thinking that all companies that come out with IPOs will make good money. This is wrong. In 1700s, in 2008, 2011, again in 2017, it will continue again and again till we learn to learn from our mistakes. Learn to learn. Very, very important to actually understand this. We will learn, but we need to learn from our mistakes first of all. My wife commonly says, if you have problems with me, get another one. My response usually is, no baby, I learn to learn from my mistakes. Sadly, investors don't. Let's see whether we can actually look at this. This is the time for interaction for y'all. I have put up a chart. It's not very clear because the camera at that point of time was not very clear in the phones. This was let's say 10 odd years ago when this news article came up. This news article mentions some 10 odd companies that came out with IPOs. The company names have been mentioned on the left hand corner. Allied Computers, Burnpur Cement, Coutons Retail, Religare Enterprises, Metas Infra, Kaveri Seeds, Power Grid, Somya Biotech, Consol Construction, and Aries Agro. These were a bunch of IPOs that came out together somewhere around 10 odd years ago, if I'm not mistaken. These companies offer prices you can see in the first column. Can you see the offer prices? What is the offer price for Allied Computers? One person please answer. Fastest finger first. Chalo, let's play fastest finger first. You won't get 1 crore rupees, huh? You will get only learning. Only time to learn. No money. What is the offer price for Allied Computers? Can someone reply in the chat, please? Offer price for Allied Computers. Can you see my pointer? Is my pointer visible? Am I audible?
You're unmuted. Sir, it's audible.
It's audible?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Even
can,
this.
acha, 16 new messages. My chat window had gone. Oh, sorry. My chat
It's
window
very
had gone into the side, so I could not see your responses. Okay, I'm sorry about that.
People are responding. And
Yeah, people are responding. I'm sorry about this. Yeah. Yes, 12 rupees. 12 rupees is what they had offered Allied Computers at. Do you know what was the listing price? The listing price was 21. That means in a short span of 12 to 15 days, without any trading also, that means there was no buying selling. The company issued it at 12 rupees. You had got the shares in your demat account and it did not even trade. The day it started trading, the listing day, the day it begins to trade, that means buying, selling happens on stock exchanges. The listing day itself, it went to 21. That means in this short span of time, from 12 rupees to 21. How many of y'all are attracted to buy this stock? Let's say you did not get shares at 12 rupees. That means you had put in your bids for the IPO. You wanted to buy the shares, but you did not get to buy these shares at 12 rupees. The day they are now available in the market, stock market, they are available at 21. How many of y'all are feeling that you have missed the boat? Please reply in the chat. How many feel that you have missed the boat? That means I should have bought at 12 rupees. Now, okay, if I did not get at 12, I should buy at 21 at least. Now, though it's available at 21. How many feel that you want to buy at 21? How many wish to buy at 21?
respond.
Okay. The people who bought at 21, okay, there are a couple of people who wish to buy at 21. Okay. The people who bought at 21, within 2 or 3 months, this 21 went to 40 rupees. Allied Computers went to 40 rupees. Similarly, other examples like Burnpur Cement, Coutons Retail, Religare, all of these examples are clearly showing you Burnpur Cement, they gave it 12 rupees, opened at 18 and went to 31. Coutons opened at 400 rupees. They gave shares at 400 rupees, opened at 500 and went to 876. Okay. This news article, when it came up, it said that look at the appreciation that has happened in IPOs. Look at the money that you could have made if you bought these shares in IPOs. If you would have bought a share like Coutons at 400 rupees, you would have doubled your money to 870 rupees in a short span of time. How many feel that these were wonderful investment opportunities? Quite a lot of people will say that, wow, so much money is to be made. Can someone now tell me what is the current price of Allied Computers? And the person who will tell me this will get an eclair from me. Come on, chalo, eclair from me. Thumbs up, eclair from me. How many of y'all can tell me what is the current price of Allied Computers? First, fastest finger first. Top 3 fingers I will give. What is the current price of Allied Computers? 49 paisa. Wonderful, sir was very fast. Dr. Janak was very fast. 49 paisa. What is the current price of Burnpur Cement? Current price of Burnpur Cement? And for everyone, it is not the 96 paisa on Banpur cement. See, the story is repeating. From all of these shares, most of these shares have gone to near zero values. This is where your mentality or mindset would come and start playing a role. If you started seeing these shares when they started moving up, as I discussed in the previous slide, panic purchasing. If you are acted upon by situations of panic, like, oh, the stock has moved from 12 rupees to 40 rupees and I have not made money. 40 will go to 80 or 40 will go to 90 and I should make money on this. I should invest into these stocks that really move up. If you start looking at history, all of these shares don't actually move up. Okay. There are very few shares, like probably Power Grid, like probably Kaveri Seeds. Only a couple of these are actually have been beneficial to investors. Something like Metas, I don't know if you're aware, but something like Metas Infra. Metas is nothing else but Satyam spelt backwards. Metas is a sister concern of Satyam Computers that went from 370 to 740 and from 740 to a delisted stock. I'm being asked which is the safest method to buy shares. What should we purchase? So that's what I'm trying to actually focus upon. Do not look at shares just on the basis of how they move or which share goes up. Please focus upon these shares on other parameters as well. Things like whether the company is doing any business or no. That was the problem with Metas. Metas was not doing any business at all. It only showed its valuation on basis of its land bank. Now, you know that land can be valuated at any kinds of values. For me, certain value may prove to be very, very high, but for actuality or reality, that land may not have that much amount of value. It's not probably liquidated at that kind of a price. I may say my land is worth 1 lakh rupees a gunta, but actually nobody will pay me that 1 lakh rupees a gunta. So understanding companies that have actual businesses, something like Kaveri Seeds, something like Power Grid. From the entire list of 10 or 15 stocks that are given to you, there were only 2 or 3 companies that had viable business, that had a working business model. This is one tick mark that you should put onto the company that you're investing into. You should first and foremost check what is the business of the company and whether the business of the company is doing well or not. Whether the company wants to start a business or whether the company already is in business. Very, very important. Things like Reliance Power. Reliance Power wanted to start a business. It did not have any past performance. You expecting the stock to go from 400 to 500, even if it does, this is not a very, very sustainable kind of a move. Should you be attracted to stocks only because they move up? Should you be attracted to stocks that have gone up by 20%, 30%, 40%? To be true to you, please go behind the scene. Please try and see what has changed, or is this price only because some panic buying has come into the stock? Please be away from these kinds of stocks that are reacting to panic purchases. Please look for reasons. If you are convinced that there is enough reason, that means some business may have changed, some expenses may have reduced. We will talk about this a little deeper when we go through. So the learning outcome or the gyan at this point that I wish to tell you is, don't just be attracted by price movements of stocks. Even dirty stocks will move up in price in initial times. Like Allied Computers moved from 12 rupees to 40 rupees and even higher than 40 at some time. There were newspaper articles trying to show you that, wow, this is the kind of appreciation that these stocks can give. But when you realize 10 years later, the stock price is not even 1/10 of what it was, 1/100th in fact. 40 rupees has gone to 40 paisa, 1/100th of what it was. What are those factors, or what are those parameters that people should focus upon? What are the things that you should look at to identify whether you should put your money in this stock or no? This is something that needs to be focused upon as we move ahead. One thing I pointed out was the business. Like the previous examples, as I told you, it's very difficult for human mentalities to change. People don't change very often. This happened in 2000, 2007. After that, once again, in 2011 also, there were lots of IPOs that came out. MB Switchgear. Now, these are trading terminal screenshots. The MB Switchgear moved from 118 rupees on the 20th of October to 390 rupees on the 24th of October. From 390 rupees, so in 4 days itself, in 4 days, from 120 to 390. From that, from the 24th of October to the 2nd of November, 390 had come back to 180. In crisis situations, everything goes down, all stocks suffer. But there are good stocks that move up also as well, once again. But even without crisis situations, sometimes stocks that are not doing very well in business terms, markets, you feel, wow, stock is doing excellently well. 118 to 390, everyone felt excellent, what a stock, let's go and purchase. But actually, this was not a good time to buy. When a stock moves from 118 to 390 in a short span, please do find out whether or not it is true. See, if we looked at like this, even for CDSL or IRCTC or DMart, you can argue that if you would have looked at these three stocks critically, that these stocks also, they are moving up very quickly. But the difference is they had businesses. Something like MB Switchgear didn't have business. Even without a good business, they moved up so quickly. This is a red flag. I want y'all as investors to focus on this red flag. MB Switchgear, Flexi Tough, Indo Thai Securities. Oh my gosh. This one went from 18 rupees to 99 rupees on the same day itself. The day it started, from 18 rupees to 99 rupees. Panic buying. If you were attracted at 99 and would have purchased these shares, today you would be left with no money at all. 24 to 185. This is the ulta I am showing you, sorry. From 185 to 24. 19th October, it was 185. 2nd November, it's 24 rupees. The highs and lows that I'm trying to show. So if you understand this, please don't be driven by just stock prices. Also try and learn of what the business is doing and what the stock is actually functioning as. Moving on to another concept. Prior to telling the story about the man attempting to return his goods, Drake spoke about panic buying and hoarding. He said the store had to apply purchase limits on such essential items so that larger customer base could get these essentials and hoarders would be deterred. You can see that notices were put up in the supermarket. You were limited to buy only 2 packets or 3 packets of certain essential commodities. Look at the truck full of toilet paper that one person is taking home. Even after so much amount, he will still be feeling that he is not taking home enough toilet paper. Okay. Walmart had to limit the number of customers in stores starting April 4th. So they would allow you only certain customers to come in at a time for social distancing, as well as make sure that hoarding does not take place. Okay. So understanding this is very, very important. He said the store had to apply purchase limits on essential commodities. What I say is this: there have been lots of regulatory measures that someone like the SEBI comes up with from time to time. Circuit filters, circuit breakers, these are all terminologies. Don't need to understand them very strongly. Just to understand that there are limits that certain stocks get placed under. These used to be daily limits, now have been enhanced to even weekly and monthly limits. These limits are placed as a ceiling price and a floor price. The example that I take is a couple of stocks like Pharmacia and KGN. Now these are good food for thoughts. You can go and research up these kinds of cases. What happened with a stock called as Pharmacia? What happened with a stock called as KGN Industries Limited? KGN. I'll put both up in the chat window so that you can actually then search them in your free time. KGN Industries Limited. And Pharmacia. Yes, I put them up into the chat window. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, it was going to private people. Now it's come up on the chat window.
Chat window.
Yeah, sorry, it was going to private people. Sorry about that. So now it's come up on the chat window. KGN Industries Limited and Pharmacia. Now these were two stocks that actually moved up in a one-day time period. KGN in fact went from 75 rupees to 40,000 rupees in one day. I'm not talking of a month. I'm talking of one day. And due to this kind of malpractices, this was not something that was normal, or this was not something that was natural. It was not that KGN had struck oil suddenly somewhere and started making a lot of money. This was just malpractices performed by certain kinds of players, certain kinds of cartels that were existing. If we get caught up in these price movements, if we just look at, this is a common way in which investors make mistakes. We only look at price movements. We think a stock that is moving up is a good stock. A stock that has really appreciated in the last 10 days will continue to appreciate. Lots of us think this. Lots of us feel we should only identify stocks that have gone up and purchase these stocks. This is a very, very common mistake that lots of us make. Even if I'm giving the gyan, I still sometimes get caught up in this mindset. I also feel that, oh, this stock has gone up, it will still continue going up. And then after learning from my mistakes, which y'all also should, learn from mine, don't create your own. Learn from my mistakes. So understanding this, it is very important that we actually learn to focus upon reality rather than only what stocks are moving around. Stocks may be moving for certain other reasons. Stocks may not be moving for genuine reasons. So it's up to us to try and find out which stocks are genuine. It's a much deeper study, cannot happen in just a 1 hour time that is given to us onto this webinar. But definitely if you focus upon certain disciplines, you will become better investors going ahead. A very similar learning outcome has been given to us by virus crisis that we are currently passing through. Stay within our home limits and all will be well. Harder to practice than to preach, especially for the married like me. The story continues and so does the fun-filled learning. Hope you are engaged enough to read on. Drake said this: if everyone had just bought the things that they had needed, okay, for the immediate short term, we would be fine. Drake said, reality is we have had so many people holding products and buying products that they are never going to use. It's just a joke. The old lady with so much amount of beer still says, I need more beer. How much more does she need with that many crates that she has lined up that is there? Okay. Understanding that if we focus on reality, if we focus on what stocks are actually doing, rather than focusing only on how they are moving up or how they are performing in markets, don't look at market performances. Don't look at how much demand there is for shares. Look at whether the demand is realistic, whether we actually have some reason for that demand, whether there is need or requirement of this actual scenario or no, or whether this is only a situation. That means if everyone buys things only for their need or reality, what they actually need, then it will be a different story. This is me thinking out aloud. Please understand that if we start buying only on the basis of what we need, now this I also can't practice. I myself, if I share with you, I myself bought 4 tubes of toothpaste. I went crazy. I don't know why. 4 tubes of toothpaste. I came home and told my wife, see, I bought toothpaste as well. She told me, do you know we have 3 tubes of toothpaste lying around in the household ready? I said, no, that can't be possible. She removes it like a magician. She removed 1 pack of toothpaste from my travel bag because I keep on traveling all the time because of teaching. So 1 is always kept in my travel bag. She removes that and gives me. She removes 1 from the extra toilet that is there as a guest toilet. She removes 1 tube of toothpaste from there. And she removes 1 more tube of toothpaste that was lying around in the cabinet, the kitchen cabinet. 3 tubes of toothpaste at home, 4 extra tubes of toothpaste. I think I don't need toothpaste for the next 12 months for sure. This reality or this realization should come before I purchase stocks. I should check whether or not these stocks are actually performing because of certain factors of growth, or are they actually performing only because of greedy people like me with toothpaste? If I just go out and keep on buying toothpaste, stock prices of toothpaste will start going up. If the demand for certain essential commodities rises very quickly, these share prices will start rising. There is some reality in this. And not just because some person feels, oh, I don't have toothpaste, and goes out in markets and starts buying. This is something that needs to be focused upon. Whether there is any actual reason for these shares to move up, or whether there is no actual reason for this. So please understand, stocks can react, share prices can react to these kind of irrationalities. These kind of people just going out and buying without any reason. It is for us to decide whether we need to react to this or we need to stay silent in these kinds of times. On one hand, I think if all of us start understanding we need to buy only what we require, and more importantly, learn to put this in practice, then the greed of wants, which had risen in these times, which has really been shown to us that we can actually convert this greed of wants into necessity of needs. Especially in Corona time, we have been shown that we can live our lives much happier, much more positively, with lesser amounts of things around us. We can do without certain luxuries of life, like going out to a restaurant and eating good food, paying 3 times for old food. We can easily sit at home, enjoy a family cooked meal. In fact, there's much more pleasure in it. The family comes together, my children come together, they help in chopping, they help in cleaning the vegetables. I have to sit down with my wife and help her with doing the vessels. We all have to. It's a family owned, family time that we are spending. Even though the amount of work that we are having to put in is more, the kind of fun that is generating is also more. There's nothing like a free lunch, they say. You got to work if you want to have fun. You could have had lesser fun for more money at a restaurant. But with lesser money, I could have better amounts of fun, is what this current crisis has shown. Similarly, we need to look at these kinds of areas. Don't get greedy when markets start moving upwards. Focus on reality, whether there is any actual reason behind this movement. The greed of want should be converted into the necessity of needs. Oh, how I wish this can happen. But beware, this will have a very negative impact on the economy if we stop consuming. Because our economy is based on consumption. The more we buy, the more luxury cars we use, the more amount of travel that we do, the economy benefits. But it might have a positive impact on life as a whole if we start reducing our wants and focus on our needs. On the other hand, I look at the other side of the coin. The amount of purchasing that has happened or consumption that has happened of FMCG, especially things like Maggi noodles, packed foods, biscuits, basic agro commodities like rice, sugar, things like toilet paper in the West, medical items like sanitizer, Dettol, floor cleaners, lots of these kinds of items, articles of everyday use. Corporate profits will hit the roof because consumption in this has quadrupled. If you actually look at that previous slide, we are clearly understanding that people have bought much more than what they require. And even in this slide, he clearly says that there are some staggering statistics. Supermarket, his store is claiming that they have sold 8 months of toilet paper in 4 weeks. 1 year's supply of flour, atta, in 9 days. That means he would not be able to sell this. 1 year's supply of atta has been sold in 9 days. Imagine the kind of impact this will leave on corporate profits. Tea and coffee, for example, in the Indian context. I went to Sakari Bandar and all that I could see is there was no tea and coffee at all. I think as Bangalore is a very, very heavy coffee drinker, y'all will have also witnessed this. There is a shortage of coffee. People started purchasing coffee like there is no tomorrow. As if tomorrow there will be no coffee available and we will all die of reduced caffeine consumption. The more you buy, the more you can consume. This is a very clear kind of a corporate strategy that has been followed in the United States. What they do is the small portion of, let's say, a soft drink. The small size soft drink is priced at $1 and the large size soft drink is priced at $1.50. The size is more than 3 times. You feel if you purchase a small soft drink for $1, you will get only 100 ml of soft drink or 200 ml of soft drink. For only a little bit extra money, you are getting 500 or 700 ml of soft drink. See, bigger Pepsi bottles are lesser priced. This is a logic that companies use. The more you give, the more the consumption will increase, especially with these kinds of articles that are things like Pepsi or soft drinks. The more you consume, the more you want to. You get addicted to them. Yes, addictions are not just of alcohol, but even things like caffeine and soft drinks are a very bad killer. Please stay away from them. Understanding this, the more consumption that will happen. So if you buy more things, you will start consuming them also at a higher rate. This will definitely affect a positive impact on these companies and these company profits. This can be one of the areas that as investors we can focus upon. Which are the companies that will actually benefit from this current crisis? Yes, even in crisis lies opportunity. The crisis has been negative for quite a lot of businesses, but also has been proven to be a positive for certain businesses, especially FMCG, especially tea and coffee. Understanding this is very, very important, and you need to focus upon these areas. Contradictions have always coexisted in all walks of life. This brings about the balance of life. The positive and the negative cancel off each other. Credits and debits set off the balance sheet. It's very important to have these contradictions. The good, the bad, the ups, the downs, the happiness and the sadness. It's very difficult, yet it's very important to not form biases and mindset while analyzing any of life's situations, whether personal, business or stocks. That means don't have a one-track mind. Don't look at the glass half empty all the time. Also, don't look at the glass half full all the time. These are two ends of the extremities. Please try and find the middle path. Please look at the glass the way it is. It is neither half full, it is neither half empty. It is half empty as well as half full. Very, very important to focus on reality. Stocks can always lead to biases. You do not look at negative factors of a stock. They say love is blind, don't they? What do they mean by this? They mean that once you are in love with someone, you can't see the bad part of that person. Even the bad part you start liking and loving. And this is where bias creates in your mind. Certain stocks may have certain downfalls or certain kinds of negativity. But people who are investors in these stocks don't look at this negativity. They don't look at both sides of the coin. They look at only the side of the coin that they wish. They look at only the side of the coin that they wish to look at. Only positive or only negative. We become either too optimistic or too pessimistic. Please be away from this, because this gives you a bad decision. Please try and bring about a balance. As I said, every cloud has a silver lining. In problems lie solutions. In crisis lies opportunity. Especially in very situations like this. A crisis situation is a situation where change will come about. There will be a lot of change that is brought about in today's times. Business is changing. The way we are doing business is changing. Economical conditions are changing. Geopolitical situations are changing. There's a lot of tension of change management that is affecting countries, let alone individuals or businesses. Countries are being affected by these different kinds of situations. Please try and focus on a bigger picture. Try and look at both sides of the coin before you take decisions. Don't look at only positives, don't look at only negatives. Bring about the balance. Always look at both sides before you take the decision. Otherwise, you'll be harmful or you'll tend to overreact to the situation. This is deeper explained by the next analogy. Oh, how I regret not following my own advisory gem before deciding to get married. I looked at only one side of the coin. I told you love is blind. And I was in love with my wife for 10 years before I got married to her. And no, that's not the analogy I was talking about, people. That's just a joke for your pleasure. There's no truth in it. If my wife is reading this, she's just in the next room. The learning analogy is yet to come. Are you ready? Hope so. Let's focus. The grocery store said that some staggering statistics claiming they have sold 8 months of toilet paper in 4 weeks and year's supply of flour in 9 days. Irrationality in stock prices are caused not by sudden situations or news and events. We always try to say that, oh, it's corona crisis, that's why stocks have reacted. Some new policy of the government has come out and that's why stocks are reacting. There is some sudden change in the economic environment and that's why stocks are reacting. To be true to you, this is not real. What is real is irrationality in stock prices is caused by situations and news and events, lesser by these situations and news events, but it is caused by irrational thinking and investors taking impulse decisions. The kind of decisions that he's talking about. Holding, panic buying. Sudden movements of stocks is because of this. Lots of us wonder, how can markets rise or fall so much in such short periods? Many of us wonder how trends can suddenly reverse. This has happened recently. That means we were at 12,200 odd. That was the all-time high. Markets were at all-time high. And within a month, from that all-time high, we went to a 10-year low. This is a reversal of trend in a overnight kind of a fashion. That means yesterday when I slept, there was no problem. Today morning when I woke up, I was faced with a huge crisis. Sudden reversal of trend. Sharp fall in markets suddenly. We always look for reasons to attribute the rise and fall of markets. But in reality, whatever the reasons may be, there is nothing changing the fact that markets don't react to situations. It is the investors, that is we react to situations, and that is why markets then perform the way they do. So this is something that we need to focus upon. Don't try and find reasons for what the market is doing. Focus on what the market is doing and what we need to do with it, what we need to actually react to. Then important learning outcome comes out at this stage. When stocks fall, all stocks fall. In 2008, when stocks crashed, each and every stock crashed. Similarly, in today's situation, last month when there was a complete crash in stock prices, all stock prices crashed. But a few have bounced back quickly and much more quicker than the others. See, right now, I can definitely point out which are the ones that have bounced back quicker. Pay attention. This is a good learning outcome, a good flag for you all to actually make decisions. So right now, I can definitely say which have bounced back, but that is after they have bounced back. That anyone can. There's no sense of coming out on CNBC and saying, oh, the stock had crashed to 100 rupees. It was a wonderful opportunity to buy because now it is at 150. See how it is. Well, it has bounced back. That anyone can say. That's not something that is rocket science. The person who actually identifies that at 100 rupees, this stock is undervalued. That means there is no logic behind this fall. In fact, there are times and situations where the stock may have had positive effects, like FMCG, for example, in today's situation. When stock markets crashed, all stocks crashed. FMCG also fell. To be true to you, in fact, FMCG stocks should have risen, not fallen. Because of the example that I am pointing out, all supermarkets have sold off their products. One year products in matter of days have been sold out. Shouldn't supermarket stocks be going to newer highs? Shouldn't things like probably Ashirwad Atta, a company that is manufacturing it, ITC, shouldn't these kinds of companies be benefiting in these times? If because of irrationality, that means all investors think of negative time and they have all started selling stocks. If because of this irrationality, all stocks have gone down, you need to identify which stocks have not supposed to go down or which stocks are not affected by this fall. Things like ITC should not be affected by this fall. Things like HUL should not be affected by this fall. This is something called as a contrarian view. That means the entire economy is in a negative zone. I agree. But that does not mean that all industries will have negative effects. There may be some industries like technology, for instance, like apps like Zoom, for instance, like social networking and digital marketing apps, for instance. All of these industries have benefited out of this crisis, in fact. If markets start giving these stocks also negative kinds of performance, I want y'all to stay very strong and start purchasing these stocks that have not gotten negative impacts, the other side of the coin. There are certain stocks that have disrupted the business, the newer ways of doing business, that have been good in finding newer ways of business, finding opportunities in challenges. Things like technology. One more disruptor that I wish to discuss is the work from home disruptor. Lots of tech companies like TCS have said that even if the lockdown opens, we do not want to start having employees sitting at our offices. They can work from the comfort of their homes. This will be a wonderful expense cutter for TCS. We all know tech companies keep their employees excellently well when it comes to canteens, because it's very difficult to sit in front of a computer screen all day long. For that reason, tech companies have the best canteens, and I say from personal experience, they are better than 5-star hotels sometimes. They have even a pool table. They have even a table tennis table sometimes in their premises. Imagine if people don't have to come to office. The company does not have to provide for tea, coffee. Just count the tea, coffee, and sugar expense. I'm not even counting the pantry boy's salary. Imagine the amount of expenses that these kinds of companies can cut. Even if their business does not go up, if their expenses are cut, profits will be through the roof. The other side of the coin, finding disruptions. Focus on these kinds of companies and these kinds of disruptors, these kinds of positives in these negative times. The time is negative, but it may affect some stocks positively. Don't behave irrationally. Don't say because markets have fallen, everything will fall. This becomes a wonderful time for you to pick up something that has fallen without any reason, because of emotional irrationality. Markets behave like the people that make them. We more often like women, sorry, emotionally irrational. Markets hitting new highs every day, and suddenly from there we are at 10-year lows in just under a month. Everything has crashed. You understand what caused the recent fall? That is irrationality of people just going and looking at one side of the coin. Let us at least start looking at both sides of the coin. Let us try and look at whether or not there is any disruption that is there, whether or not there is any silver lining to this gray cloud, which companies can actually benefit from this current crisis. And if you identify these kinds of companies, please let me in on the knowledge as well, because, well, I gave you the idea. Even I would like to purchase some of these companies and make benefits out of these price movements. It's not the epidemic or the endemic that caused the market fall. It's eccentricity and irrationality. At least us as professors should be ahead of this. Us as professors should not focus on the fall or not focus on negativity, but focus on what can happen after this. As the lockdown, even the show goes on. Remember, I haven't used the cliched show must go on. You can log out anytime you like, but you can never leave. My humor won't let you leave. A famous song, Hotel California, is reminded when I actually quote this. Coming back to the learning, enough of the fun puns. Some legal jargon can be decimated via further analogies that are offered by the toilet paper scam that we are discussing. I can understand why someone scammed stamp paper, but toilet paper? Kya din aa gaye hain? How was the man able to purchase so much of toilet paper? Is a question that was asked to Drake. Drake, in a LinkedIn post, replied, he had a team of people buying one of each across all of our stores. That means even with limits that were placed, he had a cartel. He created a team. This is very often done in markets and stock markets. SEBI places quite a lot of regulations. There are circuit filters, as I told you. There are kind of regulations that place onto stocks of acquisition of shares. Certain amounts of limits are placed as to how much you can purchase and when you can purchase. So when you're looking at all of these kinds of things, SEBI does have regulations. That means the store did put up a limit that you can buy only 2 pieces of toilet paper. What happens is mentality of humans works around this. If I can purchase only 2 packets, no problem. I'll have all my friends step in. All my friends will stand together in the line and we'll all purchase for each other. We'll be able to hoard commodities like this. Did this happen in demonetization? I think I don't need to speak further. During demonetization, what happened is you were allowed to deposit only a certain amount of money into your account of old notes. If you had more than that, you caught people who did not have that much or who were not using their limits fully, and you told them, take my money and put my money in your account. This happened very strongly. So understanding, humans learn to work around this. Regulatory loopholes are plugged by regulators, but this does continues to have, malpractices continue to occur. So understanding this is very important. Legal terms and modus operandi such as parties acting in concert can be explained by the strategy in the above paragraph on the previous slide. Making a team and collecting shares. This has been banned by the SEBI and there are regulations in the same. But that does not mean that this does not happen. With the recent market crash, there is no difference between toilet paper and shares, to be true to you. And it does not mean the parties, movies, and concerts that you are thinking of. Parties in concert means friends or cartels coming together and abusing the system. The law says you can't buy more than 2%, or you have to declare if you buy more than 1%. You say, okay, no problem. I won't buy 2%. I'll have lots of family people purchasing. Parties acting in concert. These are used to take hostile takeovers, as well as these are used in circular trading and price ramping, negative kinds of stocks. Lockdowns may end, learning doesn't and shouldn't even. That's what I say. The pun is on the word may end, and I hope that in today's may end, lockdowns may end soon. Why so serious? The movie Joker, Batman and Joker had this dialogue, why so serious? It's not adios amigos, don't worry and be happy, a wonderful song by Bob Marley. I'll definitely be back. That's about it for me for the day. We can throw this session open for discussion. I think if we have enough time, if I can ask the host, do I have some more time for discussion?
Yes, 5 to 10 minutes.
10 minutes for discussion.
For interaction. Yes.
Great, ma'am. Great. So I throw this session now open for interaction. Whatever questions, queries, or comments that you may have, as well as your feedback. I would love your feedback. In the chat window, everyone's been giving me feedback, but I would love your feedback even on my WhatsApp so that I can work on this feedback to make it better. My WhatsApp number is shared in the slide, as well as my Facebook ID is given. I do also provide these kinds of mentoring via my Facebook pages. I have 2 pages on Facebook. One ID is @mentorpursha, and the second ID is Market Exposure Mentoring Minds. These are 2 pages that I have on Facebook. You can like the pages as well, and also join me as a friend on Facebook at pur.shah.1. I am open to discussion from now on. You can place your questions in the chat, please.
Here is a question, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Who has asked this? Gold price is increasing.
Yes.
Is it the right time for investing on gold?
Yes, that was a question that I did see in the chat, but yes, I wanted that one to wait till the end. This is a common question in our minds, especially in orthodox investor portfolios, like Indian portfolios. We do tend to hold a lot of gold in our portfolios. One thing I like to point out is that gold is not a very good investment asset. Gold is a wonderful trader's asset. That means if you're talking of trading gold, what I mean by trading is when gold goes down, I buy. When gold goes up, I sell. if we're talking of gold to be a trader's asset, it is a wonderful trader's asset. But as an investor, nobody has made money in investing into gold. That means buying and forgetting about it. As Indians, we have loved to purchase and stock
Please
gold.
monitoring chat box.
Sorry, ma'am.
No, continue, sir.
Okay. So as investors, as Indians, we have loved to stock gold. We love to just keep on purchasing and putting it into our safe deposit vaults. As an investor, I would like to point out, you have not made any money in this. You may tell me that I am wrong. Gold has gone, let's say 20 years ago, gold was 3,000 rupees 10 grams. Today it has gone to 40,000 rupees 10 grams. That means you have made so much money in gold. What was the price of dal 20 years ago? What is the price of dal today? If you look at the comparison, and I can prove this statistic, gold appreciates as much as dal has. That means gold is a wonderful inflation cutter. Dal goes up by 100 rupees, gold goes up by 100 rupees. This is how it has worked in the past. If in 100 years, 30 years, if you take a survey, 30 years, gold has put on a zero. 1 0 added to gold. Dal has also added 1 0. Atta has also added 1 0. Rice has also added 1 0. That means, yes, if you are focusing on safety, gold is a wonderful asset. But if you are focusing on return, making money, gold has not provided any return whatsoever. It's a zero return. Yes, the money, if you would have kept as cash, you would have lost because of inflation. Instead of keeping money as cash, if you keep as gold, it will cut this inflation. That is all that gold provides. Gold does not provide returns. This is something that I wish to point out. As a trader, gold is very safe. That means whenever gold goes up, sell. But no, selling gold? Are you mad? What days are these that we talking of even selling our gold? If you are a trader, gold is a wonderful trader's asset. But if you have that mentality, how can I sell gold? This is a very bad kind of a mentality that we have. Then gold is not a good investor asset. If you want to trade with it, well and good. Next question, please.
Sir, go through the chat, sir.
Chat box, some have posted.
No, you can go through the chat, sir.
Yeah, chat. Okay, sorry.
Which is the safest method to buy the share? By Sri Shaila Lingaradhya.
Okay, which is the safest method to buy shares? These questions always come up, and as beginner investors, we love to actually try to find out these kinds of formulas for success. We have, as a community, we've always looked at finding out the shorter and sweeter ways to success. If you are aware of something called as alchemists, these were the fathers of modern day chemistry. Way back in the Egyptian civilization, people were trying to find out something called as the elixir of life, the fountain of youth. They wanted to drink this or stay in that fountain and become youthful forever. That means अमर तो बनना है, लेकिन अमर बनने के साथ साथ जवान भी रहना है. 18 till I die, and I don't want to die ever. 18 forever. This was the nature in which these alchemists were trying to find out things. Along with that, another kind of thing that they were trying to find out was a chemical that would convert copper into gold. शायद से ये राहुल बाबा के पास आ गया है, but jokes apart, people do look at these kinds of connections. They look at these kinds of formulas or relationships. If gold goes up, should we sell out our shares? Or if shares go down, will gold go up? If oil comes down, then stock markets benefit. Lots of people have these kinds of ideas. There is no sure shot way in which this can be done. Or there is no one safety check or one safety method in which this can be done. If you go to the doctor can't just take your temperature and tell you you are fit and fine. You may be having a stomachache for all that matters. And that stomachache will not be shown by your body temperature. So what the doctor does is first and foremost looks at multiple parameters. Does not focus on only one parameter. As stock investors, we need to focus on lots of things. Not look at one particular thing that give us a formula and we'll work. If that was true, alchemists would have succeeded in finding the elixir of life. To be true to you, nothing else but biotechnology in today's terms and cloning is the continued effort of these alchemists in trying to keep us amar for life. After our death, they want to pick up a hair of ours and make us alive once again. We all look for these kinds of things, but will we succeed? Same way, stock investors always look for these kinds of formulas or always want these kinds of cheat codes. I call them cheat codes. They always are looking for these cheat codes, but there is nothing like that. Investing in stocks should be like a good doctor's analysis. After looking at your temperature, looking at your eyes, then putting a stethoscope, if that's not enough, taking your blood pressure, if that's not enough, then taking a blood test. Oh my God. After all of this too, the doctor knows that there is still chance for error. Similarly, a stock investor should focus upon multiple parameters. These can definitely be gained access to via reading, via mentors, via people who can help you, who have actually read about this and have probably more and more knowledge about this. It's a deeper kind of a concept, and hence I try to explain the discipline that is involved rather than going to actual parameters that are there. If you want to go to actual parameters, we need to have more time.
Okay. Thank you, sir. The session had been very, very vibrant. If we look at the chat box, many people have expressed their opinion. Some of the opinions which I could read out are excellent view, nice presentations, very good informative session, good explanation and thought on gold trading, says Hemalata. Very good informative. And again, we have today's session was excellent. Then it is again Dr. Chennamma, who says today's session was very, very useful. Venugopal Rao also opines with Dr. Chennamma, saying that it was really very interesting and useful. Dr. Ashwath Narayan has sent a message. It was wonderful and thought-provoking session and excellent presentation. Very apt to present situation. Thank you, sir, he says. Then we have Suresh, yes. Where do we stand in the Abraham Maslow's theory of need hierarchy cone in the present COVID-19 impact? But then we are running short of time.
But I think I can discuss this on a personal matter if sir can WhatsApp me, and we can probably discuss this in a deeper matter.
Okay. So like this, we have got a lot of positive expressions regarding this session. So really the nuggets of information on stock market and the finances, how to handle our finance in this post-COVID-19 era are very, very useful, very practical also. I thank all the participants for their active participation and their open dialogue with the resource person. We expect from the participants the same kind of active participation in rest of the sessions that follows tomorrow. I thank the principal of Government First Grade College, Hoskote, Dr. Muninarayanappa, who is responsible in providing such a wide platform for an interaction. And I thank all the conveners and organizing committee of this Faculty Development National-wide webinar. With the words of Waldo Emerson, I would like to wind up today's session. Life is a journey and not a destination. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Stay safe. Stay safe. Take care of yourself and get connected with us tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you to
sir.
all the participants to listen to me. Hope I was not too boring. If you feel I was not too boring, I think you need to WhatsApp my wife that I'm not a boring personality, because she claims that I am quite boring sometimes. So you need to WhatsApp this to actually support this claim. Thanks a lot and keep smiling. That's what I love to see in a classroom. I love the smiles. I love the jokes. I love the fun. And I hope I was able to live up to the expectations of edutainment. Thank you and be safe. That's about it for me for the day. Tata, bye-bye.
Thank you.